Hello and welcome to Sunday Sessions Casual Conversations, Episode 6 Content Consumption. And yes, I intentionally bought Miller High Life just to piss off that one guy that says I talk about expensive clothes and drink piss beer for college kids. Go ahead, get yourself a champagne of beers. They're actually quite delicious. I was just at Blind Cat Brewery yesterday. Today is actually Sunday with a couple of friends, and I had two amazing IPAs. One was called A Pocket Full of Kazoos, which was really, really good. The other wasn't as good. I do forget the name of that one, but I also had one called Puppy Grass. That was a ale on nitro, and that was super smooth and delicious and went down way too fast. So if you're in the Pittston, Pennsylvania area, check out Blind Cat Brewing, some great beers on tap. So today's topic was triggered by a Coffee with Carl episode. I honestly don't remember if it was one of the newer ones or it was one of the older ones because I'm kind of binging some of his older episodes that I didn't watch. But he had said, I think someone asked him or he mentioned that he doesn't really watch other channels in the menswear, heritage wear, workwear space. And I thought that was kind of interesting. You obviously watch these things because you're here watching my channel, and that's basically what I talk about. And I am also interested in a lot of the menswear, heritage wear, and I'm going to say this now. There's channels that I'm going to mention that do not need my shout out. These aren't shout outs. Most of these channels I'm going to talk about or mention have like 100K plus to like 2 million subscribers. So they don't need someone that's hovering around the 7K points to give them shouts. But I do watch a lot of menswear stuff. I do follow other channels of the same caliber, around the 6, 7K subs. And we actually chat. A bunch of us actually kind of talk to each other. So like some of the big channels are like Stridewise. I used to watch Boot Spy before he stopped making content. The Iron Snail, obviously. I'm trying to think. I feel like I know all these channels, but now that I'm trying to name them and there's a camera looking at me, I'm just drawing a complete blank. But some of the smaller channels that I actually talk to these guys are like Stray Reviews, Rocky Mountain Style, Boots, Jeans, and the Odd Watch. Like I actually converse with these guys through email or usually through Instagram. Really, it's quicker to just DM people through Instagram, but I do talk to some of these people. And I guess shameless plug. I've actually been contributing to Stridewise, the blog. So I've been talking with Nick for a while now, and I have a couple articles now up on the Stridewise blog. So if you want to check those out, so I do talk to Nick as opposed to just watching his channel. I've been watching his channel for probably 2 years now. So yeah, you check that out. And obviously, I just mentioned I watched Coffee with Carl, so Carl Morawski, the main channel, and the secondary channel I watch, and some of these smaller guys. So I'm interested, not only interested in the content that they're putting out and see what else is out there, but I also like to see what these guys think about some of the same stuff that I've been taking a look at, or even not even things that I maybe reviewed, but some of the stuff that I'm interested in. If they've reviewed it, it's going to help me, especially something I'm going to buy with my money. I'm going to watch their review. I trust their opinions, so I'm going to watch these channels, but I do consume quite a bit of the same content, but I consume a lot of other things. So I'm going to talk about other things that I'm interested in, but I'm curious, what other content do you watch? What TV shows, what podcasts, what YouTube channels, like what show on a streaming service should I check out? I might not have the streaming service, but if I do, I could check it out. And I will say I don't get to watch a lot of TV. I do pay for cable. I don't get to watch it. Miss Hazel Fantastic monopolizes it, and she's really the only reason we actually have cable because she can't live without certain channels. And certain channels, even though I have Disney Plus, there's other channels that we kind of you can't pay for every streaming service, so it's easier to just keep cable for a couple of more years, and then we can ditch that and be cable cutters and just go with streaming service nonetheless. But I have got her hooked on Bob's Burgers, which I absolutely love. But now I've probably seen every episode of Bob's Burgers like 15 times. I'll get a old one in every once in a while that I haven't seen, so that's kind of nice. And if you're a dad in the same situation, I'm sure you've seen every episode of Bluey, and you can definitely relate to Bandit because his dad goals right there is Bandit. And also Big City Greens, kind of entertaining as well. So I've seen just about every episode of all of those. Well, I've certainly seen every episode of Bluey. There's only like 3 seasons, but, yeah, there's a couple kid shows that it can hold my attention for a while until you've seen each episode about 15 times, but I digress. I don't get to watch a lot of TV. I will say I did just finish The Bear, and, I watched it because everyone talks about the Mertz or Whitesville tees that Carmi wears, but it's actually a pretty good show. It doesn't focus on clothing at all. There's really only 2, 3 scenes that I can think of that revolve around denim, 2 of which I believe are in the first episode. Carmi opens his oven and takes a whole bunch of jeans out of the oven, and then in the same episode or maybe the next episode, he trades those jeans for meat for the sandwich shop at that point. And then later, I think in episode 2, he and Sid are working on the menu for the new restaurant, and she's about to start the oven, and he tells her to stop, and he pulls denim out of the oven again. Is that a thing that I'm unaware of? Are you supposed to store your denim in an oven? Is it good for vintage denim? Is it good for salvage? I don't know. That's something that I completely missed? Let me know down below. But it turned out to be a really good show. So I streamed that. That was a struggle to watch an episode at night while I'm trying to stay awake. At like 9:30 at night, I'm struggling to stay awake. But the majority of the content I consume is internet-based, mostly YouTube and then podcasts. So I'm really curious. I'm always open for more entertainment because a lot of the podcasts that I listened to, they kind of went defunct. Like most of the menswear podcasts, they stopped. Like Sons of Selvage, great podcast. I think they stopped kind of recently, but like the Denim Dads and a Great Deal of Denim Heads, great podcast. Absolutely loved watching those podcasts or listening to those podcasts. I really wish a couple of those guys would get going. The Denim Dads was great. So yeah, if you guys are listening, maybe get a couple podcasts going. I know it's hard for those guys because there's like 4 of them and they're all over the country. Well, multiple countries because Jordan's in Canada. He's Boots, Jeans, and an Odd Watch on YouTube, so he still creates. So if you want to watch him, Nifty Thrifty on IG or Boots, Jeans, and the Odd Watch on YouTube, he puts out some good content. But the podcast has seemed to have gone under, and a Great Deal of Denim Heads was also another one that I really, really enjoyed. The Sons of Selvage was a good one. They seem to stop. What else? But I listen to a lot of true crime now. I started listening to this podcast called Excuse Me, That's Illegal. I just started listening. I'm only like 30 episodes in out of like 170. And it's pretty interesting because one of the things I like on YouTube is true crime. I listen to and watch a lot of true crime. I'm big on like That Chapter, Dire Trip, Coffee House Crimes. They're my 3 big ones. I used to listen to Mr. Ballin, but I don't know. He kind of he was entertaining for a while, but his storytelling style, I liked it, but I don't know. He's not holding my attention any longer. So I stopped listening to him. Doesn't need my help. I think he has like, 1 or 2 million subscribers. So the dude's doing fine without me talking about him right here, right now, that like 100 views I'm going to get. But I digress. True crime is very, very interesting. I also, in podcast format, I really like history. I'm big into like the Old West. So like movies, I like Westerns. So I listen to a lot of like Old West podcasts that now I can't even think of the names because I'm caught up. I binged all of these episodes or all of these podcasts. So now I just go into the new list and I see when there's a new one. I listen to it. It's like Legends of the Old West. What's the big one? I gotta pull up the phone. There's one that I really, really enjoy. Still, these history ones are still going, but I'm so caught up that I have to wait for the seasons to start. Let me see here. I don't like the way that this filters. History That Doesn't Suck, Legends of the Old West, and Infamous America are my 3 top history-focused podcasts. The one that I've been listening to lately is Excuse Me, That's Illegal. That's kind of like I think he calls it his softcore crime because he talks about like there's no murder, there's no killing, it's not violent crimes. He talks about basically stupid people doing stupid things, and he's very funny, he's very entertaining. And I've learned that I kind of like listening to Canadians talk. They talk a lot like me, but they have that a boot, that they long O's, and it's interesting. I like it. It's kind of like listening to someone with an English accent say aluminum. I love that. Which sounds great. There's a couple others I watch. I got it pulled up. Might as well say I've been listening to the Never Wrong podcast, which is the dudes from Heddle's Blowout. It's entertaining. They're still putting that out. I don't know if there's a recent episode that I missed. Oh, I'm at the bottom. Let's see. It's filtering. Yeah, see, I'm all caught up on that. They haven't put out one since March 14th, so maybe they're due to put out another. But I listen to a lot of podcasts, and what I've been listening to lately is history and now true crime, because there's not a lot of menswear podcasts out there. So if you know one that's still active, like, Ironcast was great, but they're not doing that anymore. The Denim and Boots podcast, not doing that anymore. There's a bunch of them I used to listen to. So give me some suggestions. I like to listen to that stuff. One of the things that I used to do myself, that I used to watch, and I don't really watch it a lot anymore. I watch one guy when he puts out stuff because I'm actually friends with him. But it's Urbex, Urban Exploration. It's really fun. It's amazing to do urban exploration. I absolutely loved doing it, but I stopped when I was about to become a dad, because that would be bad to get arrested for trespassing when I was about to have a kid. Also, now I'm in my 40s. I don't need to go to jail for that, and that's quite embarrassing. But I still really, really enjoy it. And one of the things that I really like about it is the history aspect, because again, I'm into history. I like the history behind some of these old buildings, because some people just go and show you a dilapidated building. Maybe they'll tell you what it was. Maybe they don't even know what it was, and they'll just walk around. And some of them are kind of cool. I like the aesthetics. It's very apocalyptic. It's pretty cool. It's interesting to see these old buildings. But my take on it, and actually two of the guys I used to explore with another guy a lot that still does it, JP Videos. He's got, I don't know, I think he's 250K now at this point. Actually, I went to graduate high school together, so I know him for, I don't know, 30 years or something at this point. He's still doing it. He doesn't do just that, but he does do that. But he goes to more historic places, so he's not doing high-risk places now either. He's kind of got the same mindset as me. Like, he loves it, he enjoys it, he likes seeing it, but it's not worth risking things. And one thing I will say on camera right now, I used to say this as well, is we never broke into places. I never broke into a place. So if there was an opening, if there was an easy way in or a very obvious way in, I would go in. I would never break a window, break a door to enter anything. And sidebar, if I remember, we'll come back to it. I did get accused of it like 6 years after the fact. It's kind of infuriating at the same time, but we'll come back to that. But urban exploration is something that is really cool, again, for the history. So what I and JP would do was we'd do research of what these locations were, try to show images, if possible, of what they looked like in their heyday, and tell you about the building, about the location. We would do like old amusement parks and old buildings and stuff, and just like what they used to be. It was really cool to see, if you could find the old pictures too, to see what they once were and what they are now in ruin. And yes, aesthetically, the visuals are really cool. I like the history about what some of these places were. And that's what JP does. And also one of my other friends, Journey with Jay, he still does it. He gets some pretty prime locations. He actually finds like places that are actually privately owned and gets permission. So he actually gets permission to go into a lot of these places. So you might see some cool urbex on Journey with Jay that you might not see elsewhere, or at least other people aren't going to have. They might be there in the middle of the night with flashlights, which just gives that extra creep factor, which kind of makes it look cooler at times. But he gets some good visuals because he actually gets permission to go in some of these places from the landowners. So he gets some really, really cool locations. And he's someone that I think you should check out if you're into urbex, because he still does it. That's all the content he puts out. And they're really the only two urbex channels I still follow. Like, I used to watch The Proper People. There was this dude, Exploring with Josh, that had some cool locations, but I did not like that dude's attitude or presentation. I mean, he had a couple 100,000 subscribers, but he just was annoying. Really, that was it. He was just really, really annoying. He didn't know what he was talking about. Like, these were places that I had never been, but I had known about some of these places, and he's just, like, spouting out information that I, as someone who didn't even do, like, deep research on these things, 'cause I'd never been there, knew more about. I'm like, "Dude, you're just telling lies to tell a story, but you're giving misinformation." So I didn't really like that dude. That was a whole crew. One of the channels that I watch now does true crime is called Explore With Us, or EWU. They have several channels now. They do, like, police body cam stuff, but I used to talk with, oh god, what's his name now? I'm drawing a blank. Bob? The guy that runs it, like, the dad. It's like a dad. It was a dad and a daughter. Now all of his other kids are older, so he does it with them. But they have, like, a couple million subscribers. But I used to talk with Bob. There used to be an Urbex message board that I was on, and he actually invited me to come out there next time I was out in Arizona, Nevada, to go and explore with him. And they used to go, like, to places in the desert. Like, they would do Google Map finds and go to these, like, old ghost towns and stuff, which were really, really cool because you get four-wheel drive and they'd go out there. And he still does. They don't do it nearly as much. They do a lot more, like, true crime and police stories and body cam footage now. But yeah, he had some really, really, really great content. They actually solved, I think, a um, uh, a missing persons. I don't know if it was necessarily. Oh, maybe I have to bleep that all out, don't I? Have to bleep out those words. But they solved a mystery of a missing man out in this random abandoned location. And that was YouTube channel was watching it unfold. They went there back a couple times. That was really cool. But content consumption, see, way off the rails. I want to know what you guys are watching. Give me ideas. Give me things to watch. I'll even take TV shows. I don't have Apple TV, so Apple TV is going to be a hard one to watch. I have a friend that has Apple TV. Maybe they'll loan me their login so I can watch a few things. But I'm interested to get not only a wider horizon of things to watch for myself, but I want to get an understanding of what you like, what you watch too. And it's kind of cool. Just like have a conversation. What we could talk about some other stuff besides just heritage menswear. And I'm not gonna lie, this is the only time I get to really talk about heritage wear is when I'm rambling to a camera because my wife certainly doesn't care about it, and most of my other friends, they don't care about it either. It's not anything that they're into. So when I'm talking about heritage wear, menswear, it's mostly me in a room alone in a camera. Sometimes Miss Hazel Fantastics, they're filming with me, but she just likes to see herself in the camera. She'd be staring over here at the little monitor, making sure she's in frame and whatnot, and making little funny faces in the background. But what are you interested in? Give me some topics. Give me some ideas. Let me know what else my audience likes besides just menswear, heritage wear. There's other stuff out there, and I'm curious to know what that other stuff is. So that's about all I can ramble on about today. I'm gonna go cook some dinner because it's actually kind of early. You can see there's still some daylight out there, and I think the missus and the mini will be home within the next half an hour. So I gotta have some dinner ready because I've been home in my pajamas for most of the day. I did have a freelance gig this morning, so I took care of that early on, but I've been kind of just lounging around all day with the dog, being incredibly lazy. I never get to do that. So I'm going to go cook some dinner and try to get my ass in gear to do a load of laundry, make some dinner, and be an upstanding member of my mini society for the rest of the evening. So drop some comments down below. Let me know what you're watching, what you're listening to. Give me some ideas so I know what you guys are also into. Good night. So as I sit here finishing up this episode of Sunday Sessions, a casual conversation, I realized I did not circle back to the story I wanted to tell you all about my Urbex experience. Now, kind of the whole point of these Sunday Sessions, casual conversations, where I kind of have a topic, I go off on a tangent, and I see where my conversation with myself leads me. But this was something I did want to circle back to. This is something that now I kind of find kind of funny. At the time, I was a little taken back, then a little scared, then quite angry. And it doesn't have anything to do with, getting in trouble by doing urbex, like falling through a floor, being held up by a homeless person, or even getting caught by the police. At this point, it's been about 8.5 years or so since I've been at this location, and this event took place about a year ago, so it had been about 7.5 years since I had been there. Now, this was an old building, and it's kind of local to me, and it was an old theater. It had a huge bay of windows across the entire back of the building that would have opened up into what would have been the locker room for the backstage area, all of which were smashed out. Easy access to anyone that wanted to get into the building. Also, a little bit dangerous because lots of broken glass, lots of shards of glass, lots of the window panes still had parts of the glass in it. Well, there was another easily accessible, more safe accessible location to enter the building, and it was clear view from the street. I should also add that at the time we were there were not any no trespassing signs on the building. So, plenty of open, easy, accessible ways in. We took the one that was the least dangerous. There were 3 of us on that day, myself and another friend who was also filming, and one other guy that I had met that day, and I don't think I've met since. He was a friend of my friend. He was just there checking it out. He wasn't filming or anything. He just wanted to see the building. Now, we did get inside and hear some voices. This could be scary for urban exploration. You don't know what that is. That could be someone stealing things. That could be an irate homeless person. That could be the police. It turned out it was other explorers. They were just there taking pictures. So we kind of said our hellos, and we decided that we need to go in an opposite direction and bid each other a fond farewell and a happy exploring. So the rest of our day exploring goes off without a hitch. Yep, we saw some really great things. Beautiful old building, some nice sights, nice visuals. I documented it and told a bit of the story, the history of the location. Okay, that was it. In, out, there a thing, there for a couple hours. Edited the video. Video was live for a couple of years. Currently not live anymore. You're looking at some of the visuals now, but I did take it down because of this interaction that happened. So last year, my phone rings. I'm at work. Generally, as a rule of thumb, I don't answer my phone when it's just numbers. It's mostly spam, but on this occasion, I saw a local number, so I decided I would answer the phone. It could be one of my daughter's doctors. Maybe I have an appointment or something's coming up that I don't know about. I pick up the phone, I say hello, and I'm immediately greeted by a man yelling at me and berating me. He starts screaming at me why I have not replied to his Facebook messages for 2 days. A little taken back because there's a man yelling at me on the phone. I was like, who is this? Why are you yelling at me? What is this about? I didn't get any Facebook messages. How did you get my number? Well, he continues to yell at me. So while he's yelling at me, I'm like, says something about Jeff Grant Media Facebook. Okay, I have one of those. I never check it. So if you are trying to get a hold of me, and you will see in the description box, there is a Jeff Grant Media Facebook page listed. Don't ever bother messaging me there. I don't check it. 99% of it is just Chinese sellers or resellers trying to get me to say good things about their junk product. So I don't ever check it. I don't have notifications set up. So if you message me, I won't even get an alert that I have a message there. I will see it randomly when I decide to post a link there, but I more or less have it for the URL, and that is it. If you need me, there's an email down there, or comment on the video you're questioning about. I will see that. I will get back to you. Anyway, this guy's yelling at me. So as he's screaming at me, I go over to the Facebook page. I check it. I have messages like, you need to call me now. You need to reply to me now. I'm going to get the police involved. The police are looking for you. The police know where you live. The police will be at your door any second now. All these are different messages too. Messaged me like 50 times. So I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? What is this about? I have no idea what you're talking about. And since we had been there, at this point, 7.5 years earlier, a nonprofit took over the building, and they're trying to rehab it to turn it back into a theater. Great. That's awesome. That'd be pretty cool. It was a beautiful old building. I would love to see it brought back to life and not knocked down. So in that process of rehabbing it, they actually boarded up all of the windows that were knocked out, all of the doors that were off the hinges or freely opening, and they gated it and put up security cameras. Well, I guess a few days prior, a couple of kids were there skateboarding and trying to spray paint, and someone got a notification on their phone from the cameras, and I guess they yelled at them through the cameras. The kids scattered and ran away. And then a day or two, must have been 2 days before this phone call, 2 guys broke in. They got spotted on the cameras. Got a clear picture of these guys' face. Several clear pictures actually of their faces. I think they're actually there at sunrise, maybe. Oh no, I'm sorry. They were there in the middle of the night. pictures that they got were them leaving after sunrise. So they were there in the middle of the night and got clear pictures of these two guys' faces. And mind you, neither of these gentlemen look anything like me at all. Even me at this point, 8.5 years ago. If I can find the picture of these guys, I'll throw it up on screen here. Well, apparently they triggered one of the security cameras and they went out. The police were there. They were in the building for several hours looking for these guys. They knew they hadn't left, but they couldn't find them. So these two men were managed to hide themselves in this building for, 4 or 5 hours while the police were there. And they basically stayed there until dawn and then snuck out. When they snuck out, that's when they caught their pictures on camera. My guess is they were scrappers. They were there trying to scrap it, but I had been there at this point 7.5 years prior to this incident, and there was nothing in there worth stealing. Anything in there that was made of metal that was worth any money was far too heavy for two guys to lift and to get out of there on a backpack or a pickup truck. You would have needed heavy machinery to get that stuff out of there. But nonetheless, the cops were there for several hours searching for these guys. So they found my video as well as the guy I was there exploring with, his video. He being bald looked absolutely nothing like either of these guys. Me, because I guess I have hair, I looked similar in their mind to these guys. Mind you, again, I looked absolutely nothing like either of these guys. So this guy continues to yell at me and accuse me of things. And I was like, dude, how did you get my phone number? He wouldn't tell me. I've done some thinking since, and I'm pretty sure I know who gave him my phone number. Had a falling out with another guy that used to do some exploring. I know he was at that same location, not with us, but at a different time. I'm guessing they somehow got a hold of him and he gave them my number because he and I don't get along. So I get this phone call going back and forth with this guy. At the same time, I'm at work again. I get a message on the Teams app from one of my coworkers saying, hey, there's some lady on Facebook putting your picture and your name all over the place saying that you broke into such and such location. It's like, I'm on the phone with the guy right now, accusing me of the same thing. So he's sending me screenshots. There was this lady who was supposedly an award-winning journalist. I have never read an article nor seen her face on television in the local anythings, multiple news stations and a couple of different newspapers. Never seen her name or face anywhere. So I don't know what journalism award she's winning because I've never seen her do any amount of journalism. And if this is any indication of her journalistic integrity, she certainly gave herself those awards. Well, she's slandering me at this point, putting my name and face all over the place, telling them I did these things. I look, again, nothing like the people that broke into this place. So I'm on the phone with this guy, and I'm going back and forth with him. He's like, well, where were you like 2 days ago at they must have been in there probably 9, 10 o'clock. They probably entered the building because the cops were there for a couple hours. They got it at dawn. They probably left there like maybe 6 in the morning. So I was like, probably, dude, at like 10, 11 o'clock at night, I'm in bed. I get up at 4:30. I'm a couch potato by 8:30. By 9 o'clock, I'm a pumpkin, man. I can't stay up past 9. It wasn't me. And then he starts asking me if I wear glasses. I say, yeah, I do wear glasses. Well, do you ever wear contacts? Yeah, I wear contacts on occasion. Well, were you wearing your contacts like 2 days ago? I'm like, no, I wasn't. It's wintertime, man. I haven't worn my contacts in like probably 6 months since I went swimming last. I don't even know if I have contacts right now. And he keeps going back and forth, insisting this guy's me. Finally, he hadn't posted the picture yet, but then he publicly posts a picture. So at this point, they're accusing me of doing something I didn't do. While never having shown the public my picture, then they post the picture, and then my buddy that's also messaging me at the same time at work is like, well, they just posted this picture. It looks nothing like you. So he's telling this lady on one end that that's not me. He knows me. That doesn't look anything like me. And I'm on the phone telling the guy the same thing. I'm like, dude, that guy looks like he got smashed in the face by a shovel. My nose is not that flat. He's like, well, what's your hair look like? And yeah, my hair's quite long right now, but last year it was shaggy. It wasn't short, but it wasn't long by any means. It was probably maybe to the middle of my nose, if that, probably a little bit shorter. Well, the guy in the picture had like crazy short hair, looked like he was starting to bald, smashed nose. I went ahead and took a picture of myself then and there and sent it to the guy. He's like, oh, this isn't you. I'm like, that's what I've been telling you for 20 minutes, man. You're accusing me and screaming at me that it's me. I sent him a picture, and then he's like, oh, okay, I'm sorry. I'm like, well, are you going to call the cops? And then he basically admitted that he had never called the cops. So the cops were never looking for me. They never called the cops. He was threatening me. And this other lady is slandering me. So I I kind of actually made a connection to this guy. I probably still have his number at this point. I don't remember his name, but I had actually been thinking about going back and trying to do like an actual documentary in some of these places that I explored because I like the history of some of these places. And I know they're not going to be around all that much longer, at least many of these buildings. Some of them are already gone. So I had actually started to talk to him and he gave me permission to potentially come back and film a documentary there. I never ended up doing it. I just haven't had time. Life doesn't seem to give me enough time to work on a documentary when you're in bed by 8:30, 9 o'clock every single night. So I managed to amicably get off the phone with this guy. And then I take to this woman on Facebook, whom I'm telling if she doesn't remove my name in pictures and apologize for all of the slander she's been doing, I will in fact get a lawyer involved and sue her. Now in the back of my mind, I wasn't going to get a lawyer and sue her. That's way too much work and way too much effort for me. But she was slandering me on Facebook. And yes, it is only Facebook. But yes, Facebook is a global entity now. And if she didn't delete all that shit, it could possibly come up in a Google search one day where someone's saying that I broke into a place that I did not break into and was trying to steal stuff, and I was hiding from the cops for several hours. So in the end, this woman with her journalistic integrity took down every single post that included my name and picture. The other guy gave me permission to potentially come and film and interview them in the future if I wanted to do so for a docuseries. And I ended up taking down most of my urban exploration videos. There's still a couple that live on the channel. You gotta do some digging to find them. The playlist has been taken down, and all of the high value targets, if you will, I've removed those. And the footage that you've been staring at here is the only glimpse that you could probably find from my experience at this location, which is a bit of a shame because it was a beautiful building. And I do hope that they finally finish this project and rehab this building and open it back up because it was a beautiful theater in disarray. I can only imagine what it would look like fixed up and shiny.